Hello, and welcome to the 741 channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today I want to talk a little bit about the ARRL's decision to not renew the contract of their latest CEO, Harward Michel. Now, even though I live in Connecticut, only about a half hour from headquarters, and I do have a few acquaintances out there in the various radio clubs in the state that volunteer down at the league, I don't really know anybody there. I don't know how it works. So when the news first broke that Howard's contract wasn't renewed, my first reaction was that of confusion. As most hams know, the ARRL has had sort of a revolving door of CEOs over the last several years, and it really looked like, at least from my semi-outsider's perspective, that Harward was going to stick around for a while and make some changes, or at least be the figurehead of those changes. Again, not knowing really the politics or what goes on within the ARRL, I have to just basically take the editorials that are written in QST as face value and accept the fact that those ideas are from Harward, or at least a consensus between Harward and the board. So anyway, having read those editorials, I really felt that the ARRL was sort of on a positive path. Maybe not necessarily the right path, but it was a positive path toward moving forward along with the rest of the hobby. So about a month ago, I had made a video where I had shared some of my thoughts on the January 2020 QST editorial that Harward had written, and how I felt that the ARRL was sort of on the right path, at least from my perspective, in moving forward along with the hobby. So again, when I got the news that Howard's contract hadn't been renewed, I was a little confused and a little bit shocked. I hadn't seen this coming. I really thought everything was going in a positive direction. So naturally, I gravitated to the computer and tried to start doing a little bit of digging to see if I could kind of understand what was going on and where this came from, because it seemed like it came out of nowhere. Now, it's been a few days since this all happened, and I've had a chance to kind of read through some of the forums and digest some of the theories that people have. And I'm not going to go into anything in particular at the moment because a lot of that is just speculation and hearsay, really. There are a couple of things that make sense out there and seem plausible, but until either Harward or the ARRL comments definitively on it, we really can't say exactly what happened. So as a casual ham that doesn't really participate in contesting or MCOM or any of the things that the ARRL touches on a day-to-day basis, I've got a pretty favorable opinion of the ARRL from what I've seen through QST and just bumping into it as I make my way through the hobby. And in fact, I even went there for the tour twice within the last 5 or 6 years, I think. And I got introduced to people like Bob Allison and Joe that runs W1AW, and some of the other guys and girls that work there in the offices and just do the day-to-day work. And they're all great people, and they're all doing a real great job with running the ARRL and publishing QST and all the books and everything that they do down there. I just was really impressed by the organization. But in light of the recent situation, I have to say that my view of the board and the upper management of the ARRL is now in question. But it really does seem strange that there's so much secrecy surrounding the board and these decisions and meetings that they have. This is not a publicly traded company that has competition and things that they need to protect their intellectual property from. This is a nonprofit organization comprised of many volunteers and just members of the community. There's nothing that they need to protect outside of maybe some personal information of the board of directors and, just the usual HIPAA stuff, I guess. But outside of that, I don't understand why there's so much secrecy and privacy to what's going on with the board of directors' decisions. It really leads someone like me to start thinking negatively about what's going on and thinking that, there's some kind of gross misconduct that went on here. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't necessarily need all the fine details, and a lot of us probably don't even want to know. But we would like sort of a broad statement reason given for what happened. Now, unfortunately, I think the damage may already be done here, but I think the whole reputation of the ARRL is going to start to suffer, especially the leadership. So again, it's not necessarily my place to call anybody out or tell the ARRL what they should do and what they shouldn't do. That's up to them to decide, but sort of just as a voice in the crowd, I guess what I'm asking for is a little more transparency in these large-scale decisions that you're making. And as I said before, I know the rank-and-file employees down there at the ARRL are doing a great job. There's no question about that. But I have to question whether or not this is an organization that can represent my interests as a ham. Can they go before the government and lobby against spectrum erosion? The big things that they really need to do that we can't do ourselves. And we need strong leaders at the top to be able to do that and interface with an organization like the U.S. government that has all those complexities and politics of its own. If the ARRL can't even manage its own politics, how is it going to interface with the U.S. government politics and protect those interests that we all need it to protect? So I don't mean to imply negativity here with the ARRL. I still am a supporter, and I have a great respect for what they've done for the hobby in the past, and I know they're going to continue to do great things for it in the future. We just have this troubled period that we need to get through. And just as this sort of casual voice in the crowd, the point that I want to make to the ARRL, if they're listening, and to maybe some of my fellow hams out there that may have some influence, let's try and get the transparency back in some of these higher level decisions. We don't need to know the nitty-gritty details of everything, like I said before. It would go a long way to reinstilling that confidence in the organization that we all once had. So I think I've made the point that I was trying to make. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. But I want to hear what your thoughts are. So put those down in the comments below. And let's see what everybody thinks. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to leave a comment or subscribe, feel free to do that as well. Thanks for watching.